only war that I can think of that's partially worth it is the one that rescued um, millions of people from um, the ones that really rescues millions of people from genocide. The Rwandan conflict,
Yeah.
the World War II
Mm,
conflict, where
yeah.
the Allies went in and rescued the Jews, the Semites, and others. Those are justified. When you have serious, otherwise, we should have a war on war and a war
Yeah.
on the divisiveness of our language. We're still running
Yeah.
around talking about our democracy. What are they talking
Yeah.
about? We never had a
I
democracy.
like that. A war on
Yeah.
war. I like that. And another
Yeah.
thing, welcome to the panel, buddy.
We used to be a
I
Thank
like.
you.
republic.
I want to
I
let
thought
another
we were a
thing touch
republic.
on this real quick. Sorry, Derek. I just want to let another thing touch on this. Those pipelines you're talking about and all that stuff going through, and I know Derek knows a lot about this too. It's crazy
Hmm.
how when you find all these regions that all these conflicts are happening, there happens to be a major fucking pipeline. Like it's nuts, bro. It's
Imagine
really
that.
crazy.
So I'd
Go
never
figure.
heard of Turkmenistan before, and I don't think anybody had, right? So it wasn't even about Afghanistan. It was about Turkmenistan. We
Hmm.
wanted they had
Yeah.
the fourth largest natural gas reserve and the fifth largest oil reserve. And guess what? They were bordered right on Russia, and we
Right. That ain't
wanted
that
their
ain't none
oil.
of your business. That ain't none of your business, peasant.
Right, exactly, exactly. So what did we do? We came in hard, and you know what? You know something like 50% of Afghanistan is addicted to heroin right now, thanks to us.
Oh
It's
yeah.
watch it, check it out on YouTube. The streets of Afghanistan. It is depressing. It makes us look like Disneyland or something. You know,
Well,
like a ghetto here.
that's what the crown did to China back in imperialistic
Yes, sir.
days. They did to
The
China.
opium wars. Yes, sir.
Well, yeah,
You
you
know,
hear the
And
stories of the soldiers in
same
Afghanistan.
concept.
They come back. They're like, "Why was I guarding like acres and acres of poppy fields? Like they were just guarding these
right.
fields." And they're like, "Why was I doing this?" And then now you kind of start piecing it together. It's nuts.
Yeah,
I heard.
and if you're a
You want to
sniper
talk
in
about?
position, insurgent, you take them out
I,
because they're gonna try to
I
lay
want you guys to imagine
Yep.
the World War III starting. Do you know who would suffer the most?
the people.
The people of Russia and the people of China. Those people are
Yeah.
not full participants in their government. We aren't even full participants in our own government, but at least they pretend we
No.
are.
Yeah.
My God. What about the people? What about them?
Mm-hmm. They don't care about the people.
I'm kind of scared right now, you guys. To
Like I
be
said,
honest,
none of
I'm
your
kind of.
business, peasant.
They have
Oh, hold
bunkers.
on,
They have
Frankie.
bunkers.
What's going on, man? Man, do you know I had to
It's
Yeah.
get off
crazy,
my own
Paul.
Wi-Fi? I did everything but throw the breaker in my house. I can't freaking
Mhm.
stay connected for nothing. This app is crazy.
Yeah,
I
I don't
have
like all
cycled
this.
more than 30 times. I had to turn my phone off and on. I've done everything I know besides go outside and throw the breaker on the house. I'm literally running on LTE right now. What's going on?
There's a 5G tower near you. I don't know, but
Jesus Christ, man.
Or the
yeah.
NSA doesn't
Yeah,
like your
there's a 5G
conversations.
tower near me. Guarantee that.
You'd be surprised. Be surprised how
Oh,
close
I
they
know there
are.
is. I'm in
Oh
Southwest
yeah.
Houston, man. There's
Yeah.
freaking dense population. Huh? There's probably one out. There's probably one in the yard.
So you
There's
know what I
definitely one
you know
in
what
each
I
other.
saw one time that
If you
really
got a
freaked
smart
me out.
TV, if you got a smart TV, there's definitely somebody watching you. So
Oh, that's it
Yeah.
for sure.
yeah,
Who doesn't have
yeah.
a
Um,
I
smart
mean,
TV? If you got a dumb TV, man, you must really be poor.
I
exactly.
know, right?
Hey, you know what? I got the
Man.
pliers with the coat hanger on the back of my TV.
Right.
The
Yeah. But
foil
but but
I
but
wraps
grew
you
up
got
with
around,
that.
with the vice
but you got
grips
the
on the
foil.
things.
You
I
got
can
the
turn the
foil.
channel.
Oh, it's not enhanced. You got to crimple it
I
Yeah,
on the
I
grew up
got
with
bottom.
that.
I got the vice grips on the
Tinfoil,
on the on the channel.
coat hanger,
Oh,
tinfoil.
that's for changing the channel, right?
Yeah, that's the change of the channel. Yeah, yeah. In the back of my TV, got some wires that say UHS or VHF or something like that.
Yeah, silly Americans.
Yeah. I'm still playing Atari. What are you talking about? So yeah, but yeah,
Yeah,
we got
there's plenty of resources to take care of everybody. The problem is, who said we're trying to take care of everybody?
That's
exactly.
it.
We start from a position of fairness. I'm willing to
Mhm.
take food out of my mouth so that another man can eat. I don't want to see anybody
Mhm.
gets hurt and anybody's child down. But we're throwing away money like no, like you wouldn't believe. If you guys have never
Okay.
stood on a carrier when a U.S. jet was fighter jet was taking off, you have no idea what the power of this country is. We have plenty of power. We're just not focused, and we like lying.
Mhm.
Lying has become a part of our culture. We lie in the media. We
Mhm.
lie on the news. We lie to each other. We lie right here on
Yeah.
this app. We lie all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's human nature. The thing is yeah, that those jets have a lot of power. Just have a lot of power. So
Where's Mikey? What happened to Mikey, Jay?
I think it's he had to go.
Oh,
He
I think he
must
had
have
to
gone
go.
in to face the doghouse.
Let me get to some of these messages. It's cool.
yeah, man. He got
Another
to
thing, you
start.
want me to play yours? You want me to play yours? Another thing, or you want me to just skip over them?
You don't need to play mine
Okay. All right.
unless you see something that looks
I
interesting.
mean,
But
if you don't get rid of the snakes in the grass and you just keep on building, the snakes are gonna be like inside of your place, your building, right? Isn't that how it works? They'll be in the vents and shit and everything.
snakes on a plane.
Snakes go
No, the
everywhere.
snakes will lose their habitat if you keep building.
Yep.
Okay.
Canary in
Let's
the coal
go.
mine.
Why are we focusing on this? Why aren't we like at war with China? Why are we not like focusing on our own country with I don't get why we're at war. We shouldn't even be at war. We should be focusing on our own people. We should stop spending money that we don't have. Like fuck, dude, people.
Well, we're
Thank
not
you.
at war. We're not at war. So, but yeah, I understand what
No
he's saying.
percentages.
Well, I just want to, contrary to belief, let y'all know my wife, 3 days ago, she lost her left foot. And today, she was getting stitched up. And she told me, she looked me in my eye and said, I'm ready to go in if I need to. If I need to. So that's how USA rolls right there. Her name's Brittany. Bless her soul.
So the Brittany, let's go.
I mean, if you won't stop building and you don't eliminate the snakes, they're gonna
Oh my
keep
god.
slithering around.
This guy.
Well, I
Yeah,
got news for you. Snakes are a natural part of animalia. You eliminate
Yeah.
any one link in the food chain, and eventually you eliminate us. So
Thank you.
Mhm.
Everything's
I don't know
connected.
why he's. I don't know why he's.
Right.
I mean, frog. What is it? What are the key? What are key animals? Frogs and
Bees.
fish are
Oh
key
yeah.
Bees, man.
indicators of the health of the earth.
Right.
So the
Frogs.
idea
Yeah.
of killing
Frogs
killing
indicate a
all
good
snakes is a
ecosystem.
huge mistake. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
again, this is the humans
Mhm.
behaving badly and thinking they're behaving well. It just
And it's
Imagine
funny,
we
I can
kill the
tell you.
all,
snakes.
all these creatures, all these animals, although yeah, they eat for predatory. They eat for. I mean, they hunt for the sake of eating. They don't kill just to kill. I mean, some of them do, but that's a whole different. But why can't we just live like nature is intended us to live? Um,
Hmm.
the animals
Right.
get it, and we're supposed to be smarter than those guys. How come we can't get it?
Right.
Plus,
And
It's
we
a
just
look
snake
at
is just another
nature,
reptile. It's actually good eating. You know,
and
if
we
you
kind
I'm
of
if
look
you
at
need to
nature as
eat and
reptile.
you can
barbaric,
get
right?
yourself a nice sized snake, that's a nice sized steak.
I can only eat healthy food. I mean, clean food. I don't think snakes
A
on that
snake is
list.
clean food.
Is it?
Have you ever had? Yeah, you ever had an alligator?
Rattlesnake's supposed to be good.
No, no. I thought it had to be the hoofed animal. Well, I don't know, but no, I've never had a snake. Never had a snake or alligator,
Uh,
crocodile, or anything.
yeah. Have you ever had shark meat?
No,
Delicious.
no.
It's delicious. Delicious steaks, man.
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm just gonna stick with fish, tuna, salmon. So
A
like,
shark is a fish.
hmm. Yeah,
You would
but it's
like it.
not.
Yeah.
It's not very flavorful. It's not got a strong flavor, but it's got a great consistency.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a low fat, dense flesh, and it's very good.
Hmm.
Don't believe me?
So
Try it.
so are snails. I plan on eating one of those.
No, no,
But yeah,
snails are not dense.
yeah.
Snails are fatty.
Yeah, they look dense. They look pretty dense, kind of like a gumball or something. I don't know. I don't know. I just not. I
Yeah.
just, just some things I'm just gonna stay away from. Yeah. Yeah.
Try going to DuckDuckGo and look up not a baker's but a chef's description of
Mm-hmm.
different different meats. They'll have
Mm-hmm.
detailed descriptions about different
Hmm.
meats. I've had shark meat. I've not had snake, but I had shark meat, and I was shocked at how good it was.
Now I
They
have seen
bring it
somebody.
on.
I've seen somebody saute up a nice alligator steak or whatever you want to call it. And it did look pretty good, but
There you
they said it's
go.
kind of.
There you
They
go.
said it was kind of salty,
Just like
but they said
chicken.
it. But
No, just like chicken.
but I can't.
Just like chicken.
I.
Have you had frog's legs?
No, my dad had possum ones. I'm like,
Just
you know
like
what?
chicken.
I'm good.
You know, what are we doing here? You know what
Hey,
really pisses me off is I hear
Paul,
that it's
remind yourself never to invite me over for dinner, okay?
in I've heard of in different parts of the world they've been lauding shark fin soup. Why
Yeah.
would
Oh
somebody
yeah,
cut the fins off a shark and then throw the meat away? That's the stupidest
they
thing
throw
I've
the
ever
whole
heard.
shark in. It's so
Hmm.
Yeah,
sad. You can see it on
in
YouTube.
in
You see this thing
in the
just sink to the
18
bottom.
Hmm.
in order
Oh, wow.
to push the Indians off the land, they started shooting buffalo like
Wow.
crazy, taking the skins and leaving the meat out in the sun to rot. You know how anybody ever seen a buffalo? You know how big they are? They're
Those
like a
suckers are
full
huge.
third. They're a full third bigger than the biggest cow you've ever seen,
Hmm.
at minimum.
Yeah. Those
Huge,
things are huge.
I read a
for a
Huge
huge
bison.
report
amount of
about
meat. What a
Yeah, I
waste.
read a report about buffalo hunting that said some people wouldn't even get off the train. They would shoot just just bap 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 till their barrel was too hot to shoot, till it was too swollen for the bullet to get out, and then they'd
Yeah,
have to let their gun cool down, and then they'd start shooting them again, and it would take like an hour for the herd of buffalo to pass you. I mean,
Hmm.
we can't
yeah,
even comprehend these numbers, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. This
That's
is the
crazy.
humans trying to kill the snakes.
Hmm.
Right.
The reason they were doing that is to try to push the engine, the bl- the blight that was the natives off of the land.
Yep. Right. It's their number
Well,
one food source, and it
So
could
you're
have been
willing to
well, see,
ours.
destroy the earth so you can take the earth.
Yep.
yeah, but that's what they're doing in modern times. They're doing it. They're just like trying to cause a food shortage in many other ways. So I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
that's
like
just the
Sure.
this
next.
guy calling talking about getting rid of all of the snakes. What are you talking about?
Mm. You need the snakes. Keep the
Everything
ecosystem
that's
going.
living. Just I don't know what people are thinking, man. I don't know
Yeah.
what people
Yeah,
are thinking.
you
Just
guys made me think of something when you were talking about snakes, and it made me think about how we look at nature and we think like, "Ooh, it's so barbaric. They eat each other and it's all violent and everything, right?" But at least
yeah,
they
what do you
do it
think the
to
humans do?
survive. Here we are
Yeah.
just killing each other just to kill each other. We're not even eating each other. It's a
Yeah. You
waste.
know what?
It's
And
stupid.
Well,
then we raise a flag and celebrate
some
it.
people are eating. Some people are eating each other. But yeah. But I get
Well,
what you're
yeah,
saying.
that's not what I
Some
meant. Yeah,
people.
but yeah, exactly. Yeah, you
Yeah.
got me.
Let me get through some of these bubbles because I got to go inside the building and I can't be out here like this. So yeah. Let me get through some of
Well,
these.
make lots of if you go
Hey
inside, make
guys,
lots of noise.
which country do you think is going to attack or act after this military operation? Like, which country do you think is going to be the neighborhood, the neighbor countries of Ukraine, or maybe Germany, something like that?
My guess is neither will attack. My guess is nothing will happen.
Apparently, a
So
missile hit the airport in Kiev.
allegedly,
Okay.
I
allegedly.
came in late. Have you guys discussed the elephant in the room
What
with
elephant is
respect
that?
to this Ukrainian thing? If
Oh
you
yeah.
pull up a map, if you guys pull up a map of Eurasia and take a look,
Hmm.
if Ukraine was far north in the icy region, I guarantee you this conflict wouldn't be happening. The reason
Exactly.
that they want this land is because it is the choicest of the Russian atmosphere. This is the best land.
We
Yeah,
were talking
it
about
is.
that.
You understand? It's the
Yeah,
best
we're
of the
talking
best. Forget about the oil. Look at where they
about-
are. It's the greenest, the most fertile, and closest to the sea. Oh yeah, they want it bad, bro.
They have 1/4 of the entire Earth's topsoil.
There you
I
go.
read that today. It's insane.
yeah,
Oh no, no, I didn't mean that. You mean Russia?
Ukraine itself, fertile topsoil. They have 1/4 of the
Oh,
world total topsoil in Ukraine. It's like the most
ain't
fertile
we getting
farmland in the
that?
world, like you just said.
yeah. Hey guys, I got to give him my star. I got to get inside, but I'll have you in my earpiece. But I got to give him my star. You guys there?
Oh,
No.
Yep.
Ukraine. Yeah, we're here.
Okay. Okay. All right. I don't know how to do that on this
Yeah,
app right here, so I'm just gonna.
touch the face.
Huh.
Well, if you leave, it doesn't matter. If you
Okay. Okay. I don't know how to do that, but let me
if
see.
you if you if you leave, it's okay. You can't. Well, it's not supposed to be 3 stars, so I'm not supposed to have a star. I'm
Well,
telling you now, that's
I'm gonna.
illegit. It should never be three
Okay.
stars. So there's no place for you to pass a star because everybody's got a
Okay. Well,
star.
let me just
So
let
all
me
you
just
should
bounce
do is
in.
just leave. Yeah, and if it kills the app, it kills the app. There's nothing we can do. But what are we gonna do? We can't push you
Okay.
anywhere.
I got you.
Hey
I
Dave,
got
I'm
you. Let
gonna
me see.
follow you, man.
Oh, you guys have a
Nice
good one.
meeting
You
you.
guys have a good one.
Yeah, great
You
talking.
too.
Hey, Paul, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. And another thing,
Man,
um, so this
yeah,
is,
we
as
were.
far as I'm concerned, this is your show. You were here before me, so I'm gonna reset the room for you. And another thing's show Nas, Doc Bay, J Lo, Stay, Beeper. Is that Beeper? Man,
Well,
my
how about
eyes are
it's
getting
our show?
old. Mars and Tamarius. Welcome.
Welcome,
Um,
people.
let me hit your messages for you. You got a ton of them. I'm gonna be your second star.
You don't need
Um,
to play
Thank
mine.
you, Gale Force, and thank you for all the stuff you send me. I miss you. I have not sit with you for a long time. Have to get together sometime. Sorry for taking that up on the platform. And another thing, just said it. Putin's trying to do the thing with the gas line. There you have it. Because what's going on in Syria and what's been going on in Syria is that the U.S. has been trying to get this gas pipeline through Syria into Europe, and they have not been able to do it up until this point because they got a pact. One go, we all go. China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, and Syria. So Russia's like, no, don't let them put the pipeline through. U.S. is like, we need to get pipeline through, and then they're saying no. So the thing is, it's like, and it's a proxy war at this point. And that's what's going on in Syria. That's why Damascus is destroyed and obliterated. But you know what? China and Russia want to get off the petrodollar, and they have that capability by preventing the U.S. through Syria and regaining Ukraine if that's what they choose to do. But they don't have any aspirations to do that with Ukraine.
Mars.
Oh man, I agree with Paul Rhodes for once. Get you hold of a rattlesnake, man. That's some nice fatty meat right there.
Right?
Shark is delicious, man. Like,
Hmm.
you deep fry like some shark and then you make like a nice little sandwich, man. That's some really good eating.
I knocked at everything but yours, and we'll just when you run out of stuff to say, we'll play yours. How about that?
Oh, that's funny.
They say, how about just a
Yeah,
little bit more of this beautiful bean footage?
B-roll.
Yeah,
There we go. We got B-roll.
yeah, B-roll, B-roll. There you go.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
were
know
getting
what's.
into it on the Ukraine thing, and I don't know about you, Paul, but I'm nervous, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm nervous. I think, and the way I call it going is, I think we, the U.S., are gonna provoke with a false flag operation. I think we're gonna bomb or missile Ukraine, and we're gonna say that Russia did it. Just a
See,
hunch.
Russia didn't do anything, and we didn't do anything.
Right.
The people of
Right.
Russia are just pigeons, just like us, sitting around looking at the TV and wondering what the devil is going on. It's
That's
just
what
a
I believe.
few. It's just a few evil men running game
Yep.
with each other and playing with our lives. That's what's really going on.
All for money. Yep.
It's all duty. There's no duty, honor, or code. It's all a farce.
Yep. And for
I'll
greed
guarantee
and
you, the
avarice.
majority of Chinese. I've bought a lot of things, purchased a lot of things on eBay from China. I have never
Hmm.
been cheated. Never.
Yep.
It may take 30 days, 40 days for them to get me my stuff, but they always send me my stuff. So what's wrong with China?
I can't think of a thing. Both of my
Uh,
nephews
why
have
we
gone to
why we
China
hating on
and
China,
lived there.
man?
Yeah. One of my nephews is in China right now teaching English.
I feel like
And
Muhammad Ali. You remember when they wanted Muhammad Ali to go to Vietnam? And he said, the
hmm
Vietnam ain't never called me the N word. The people here calling me the N word, discriminating against me.
Amen.
Those people haven't done anything to me. I kind of feel,
Amen.
I'm, 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 I'm swayed to believing that they're playing one against the other. This is game on
Hmm.
top of game. This is not legit.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%, my friend.
None of this is legit.
Mm-mm. Nope.
No.
Nope. And I stumbled upon an article by an eyewitness of and he called it. He was who was he? He was the United States president of the oh god the com, something commerce for Ukraine. I forget the exact title. Forgive me. It's late. But anyway, he wrote this article, and he was an eyewitness to the U.S. coup d'état. And he said that McCain and an EU advisor came there in 2013 with a member of the CIA, and they met with these ultra nationalistic, the neo Nazis that we're talking about, met with those guys to plan the coup that then happened a year later in 2014. So they had
I'm
a
trying to
Democratic
listen to your
leader.
voice, and I'm still butthurt, man. I'm still butthurt about Afghanistan. That's the most
I know.
incompetent thing I've ever seen, man. Was that a game show? Did I wake up in a nightmare? Didn't this man have 4 months to get out of there and clean up? You could have swept up, cleaned up. You could have mopped everything up and had everybody alive and well and all of our equipment out of there. But no, you decided not
Yeah.
to do it.
Horrible.
And I don't get
Horrible.
that, man. I don't get that.
I almost
Why are
think
we
it was
making
planned, right?
uniforms and guns just to give them away?
Right. Exactly.
What a waste. What a
Now, don't you
waste.
think that that was
They're
a
not going to tell us
planned
the truth.
failure?
They left C-130s over there. You ever seen a C-130?
I'm not sure what that is.
It's a transport plane, a huge transport plane.
Oh my God.
Hercules. We left
Jeez.
4 or 5 of those, 2 or 3 of those, 4 or 5 helicopters, dozens of jeeps and transport. These are expensive vehicles. Hummers, guns,
What could
weapons.
go wrong? What could go wrong?
Well,
My
whether
God.
if you couldn't get out in time, which I believe they could, what's wrong with putting everybody on KP duty? Get all my stuff, put it
Mm-hmm.
in these crates, secure the crates. You can't. Everything has to be secure on the plane, or you wreck the plane if that weight moves
Right.
around in there, right?
That's it. Mm-hmm.
You know, if you do nothing else, you can fill up each car, each vehicle with as much stuff
Right.
as you can put in it,
Yep.
crates of
And then you
weapons
put
and
the
stuff,
cars in
and
there.
then drive the car on there.
Yep.
Secure the vehicle. What's so hard about
Parking
that?
brake. It's
What's
simple,
so hard
but so
about
I
that?
think it
No,
was.
no, they
I think
they
it was a
chain them down.
planned failure. Right.
I,
They,
I,
they,
I, really? Is somebody that evil? Really?
well, do you really think that we're that inept? I mean, because part of the military
Yes, I
is like
do.
a finely oiled machine, right?
No, man, wrong. It's as we say in Texas, it's all hat and no cattle.
Hmm.
You got the
Okay.
guys at the
Could be
at
right.
the auction, at the cattle auction,
Yep.
the guys who
Yep.
represent the big ranches. They come in their overalls, and then boots, and your pants not even down over their boots. And you got the other guy comes in the El Presidente, $1,800 El Presidente hat, and he only has
Right.
a few head of cattle, all hat,
Yeah.
no cattle.
Yeah.
I'm just starting to really doubt the presence of intelligent life here on the planet, like Neil deGrasse Tyson said. I'm just starting to doubt our
Yeah. We're
ability
still looking for intelligent life.
self
Haven't
governance.
found it
We're
yet.
really our self governance is abysmal.
Well, it's
This,
horrible.
I
It
mean, just
appears
look
to
at
be
some of the
getting worse.
great conflicts in our wingspan. WW1,
Hmm.
WW2, um, completely unnecessary.
Absolutely. And
What's the next
oh,
big major conflict?
well, let me touch on
Vietnam
World War
War.
II real quick, because
Yes, sir.
um, you know, people talk about this being like the last good war. We had to go. We had to stop the Germans because they were doing these horrible things, right? But then there's this offshoot of the fact that Prescott Bush, like Daddy Bush's daddy, so Grandpa Bush, was selling oil to the Nazis. He was the head of or a president of like Mobil Oil or something, right? So if he would have cut off the oil supply to the German army, their army would have come to a screeching halt. But he
But
didn't.
if you remember,
Congress
early in the
against the
first
orders
three
of Congress.
quarters of the war, we had a we had an intentional policy of neutrality. Not only us, but what was it?
Right.
The Netherlands. What was that icy area north? Was it the Netherlands?
Denmark was involved, so I think it was the Netherlands. Yeah.
No, there was another. It was the Netherlands or some one of those. I can't remember which one it was, but it's in all the movies. But they had a neutral. They had a neutrality. They said we're not getting in that. They
Oh,
did this for
Switzerland.
three quarters of the war. Yeah, Switzerland. That's right. Switzerland had a policy, a written
Hmm.
policy of neutrality, as did the United States.
Hmm.
And they did that. They claimed they were just preventing conflict, but they did that to allow business practices to continue. The very business
Boom.
practices and many more, like you're describing.
Yep.
Big oil, big money, big hats,
Yeah.
big cattle. Got
Something
nothing
I
to do
learned
with you
about.
and me.
That's
But if
it.
we had
Something
been
I learned
involved
about
in the war,
Switzerland.
if we had been involved in the war up front, if we were really the cowboys we say we are, then there would never have been a Pearl Harbor, and the war would
Right.
have been ended before the sweep across Europe, and half
Hmm.
of the Blitzkrieg would have been impossible. Let's say you turned off the war effort began, and you turned off the oil, and you went in and you
Yep.
caught these people red-handed, because remember the ovens and the killings, they covered up
Yeah.
three quarters of those before we could get there. They went in and mopped up, man, cleaned up the graves and everything. They hid their crimes.
Exactly. Like you said, if we would have just
But
shut off the oil valve, all that stuff would have stopped years earlier.
well, no, I think it would have taken more than that. I think it would have taken shutting off the oil valve and us getting involved in the conflict. That's when you
Sure.
do it. When you have allies, you
Yeah.
don't wait until okay, okay, I'm coming, like some snotty nosed kid. That's the way we got
Right.
into the war because of Pearl Harbor. We didn't want to get in the war
Hmm.
at all. We allowed it.
That's what I heard is
So
that we allowed
let's
Pearl
move
Harbor
it
to
forward
happen because then it
to
gave
my
us the reason.
lifetime.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this, but I worked as a civil design draftsman for many years on the Aramco housing project, which is all
Oh wow.
support mechanism for the Saudi Arabian extraction network that we built in the 70s and 80s for Saudi Arabia. Why were we involved
Wow.
with Saudi Arabia? We knew about their human rights violations, them killing women and
Hmm.
beheading women and stoning women in the street. We knew about that way back then. Yet we did it
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
And here
We don't
and
seem to
here
care
we
when they
are.
do it, right?
We
We point the finger at
we don't
Russia,
care about anything when it comes to money.
point the finger at China, but we don't care what Saudi Arabia does, right?
We don't care about anything when it comes to money. Money, money,
Saudi
money.
Arabia, Saudi Arabia chopped up a reporter the other year, right?
Yep.
We didn't do anything. Unbelievable.
And the businessman Trump made a decision. How much is one man's
Hmm.
life worth? Is that correct? Uh, Probably is, but it's just an extension of this whole cowboy philosophy. Is just not true. Now it
You
is
want to
true
hear a
in
disgust?
war. In war,
Yeah.
you lose men, and you could have a man, a beloved leader, behind enemy lines, and it would cost 1,500 lives to even attempt to extract him. Not only will almost assuredly guarantee his extinction, but you'll get a whole lot of people killed. That's a situation where an elevated commander may have to say, no, shelter in place, wait till
Yep.
morning. We've had a number of movies
Hmm.
about that where
I'm
an
gonna ride this
extraction
one
is
out.
just not feasible, even though
Right.
you're a president or a vice president or or an elevated commander or a general. Don't let them know you're a general. And hide. Sometimes they're captured, but they do that to draw you into the conflict. There are many decisions that aren't going to be easy for us to swallow. But these wars that I have seen are mostly very, very selfish and very hedonistic. It
Yeah.
shouldn't have
War for
taken
profit.
a
Blood.
review of
Blood oil.
WW2. It shouldn't have taken. It should not have taken a Pearl Harbor to upset our neutrality and cause us to act. They make it seem like we got the history. If you don't look at it sort of cursory, they make it seem like we went in there to save people. No,
Right.
we went in there because we were attacked. Pearl
Hmm.
Harbor was the beginning of the U.S. entry into the war. Prior to that, we were
Right.
just another Switzerland as far as the world was concerned.
We'd just been sitting back watching people get slaughtered. Yeah. Hmm. And
Don't tell me
another
we didn't
fact
know
about
about it.
Switzerland. Did you know Switzerland took the banks of Switzerland took all the Nazi money, so they allowed them to deposit in Swiss banks.
Yeah, yeah. Business as usual.
Crazy. Hmm.
Business as usual. So here we are, history repeating itself. Okay, we just revealed. I don't know if this came up in a show earlier that Ukraine is a very, very, very valuable corner of the world in terms of its
Hmm.
location, its weather, its topsoil, and in comparison to the rest of Eurasia, very valuable.
Its infrastructure as well. Apparently, it's got 50% of the old USSR's factories and 50% of the military industrial complex.
Oh, they want it bad.
Great. Well,
They
and,
want it
and can you
bad.
blame them though, right? Like I look at it like they're Puerto Rico. Like who are we to tell them what they should do with Ukraine when we still got Puerto Rico? You know?
Well, Puerto Rico has had I don't know how many votes. I want to say there's been at least three times when statehood was at their fingertips.
Hmm.
They voted no.
Wow.
The only purpose for their statehood is so they can have a governor and so they can have um, two senators and participate
In our election.
in federal elections, i.e.,
Hmm.
president, vice president,
Yeah.
and have a seat on the Senate and have
Hmm.
representatives. I'm not sure why they voted no,
Yeah, that's
but
interesting.
I'm sure you'd figure that out pretty quickly. I wish Miss Smitty was here. She'd figure it out just like that. She's so good at
That
that.
seems like flipping a giant bird to the government. Like, no, we don't want to be a part of you. We want. I would think that's a gesture towards independence.
Well, I don't think so because it's first off, we are a group of in the Americas. The Americas, that's why I always object to us being called African American or Americans, because it's a
Right.
lie. The Americas
Yeah.
are 55 nation states, two very large continents, and hundreds of islands. Now, the
Yeah.
US, which is considered one country, is a conflagration of 50 states and 16 territories. I've only had an
Yeah.
opportunity to visit a handful of those territories and quite a few of the states. But this is a huge place, guys. Make no
Oh, it's
mistake.
massive.
The world would love to put a thumb in our pie. You think Ukraine is valuable? We're valuable. Make no mistake. This is probably the most valuable piece of property on this continent. Far more valuable
Yeah.
than a Canada. Okay, Mexico is valuable as all get out. Don't you think it's
Hmm.
not?
Oh
Huh?
yeah. Resource
It's
wise. Oh
just
yeah.
north of the equator, and it is vibrant and full of life and fertility, fertile ground.
Hmm. Oh
And
yeah.
look at how it's shaped.
And
Look at
coastline. Tons of
coastline.
coastline.
There you go. Look at the coastline. Look at the shipping
Hmm.
opportunity. Look at
Shipping,
how much
fishing.
coast.
Oh yeah.
Look at how much coastline you get per unit of ground.
Wave power
Florida,
generation, even. Right. Talking about green
Florida
energy.
is very valuable. It's been less valuable because of global warming and the threat of flooding.
Hmm.
But places that
Yeah.
have long peninsulas like that out into the ground and good weather to boot, look at the
Oh yeah.
shipping, fishing, fertile land. So why do you think the elderly move there?
Hmm.
Because it's a virtual paradise in terms of climate.
Absolutely. I
So
went there once in
look,
February and I was wearing flip flops and shorts and a t-shirt.
huh? Breathing the air and sucking on a shake,
Yep. Exactly.
huh? And I bet you just felt like whistling. Yeah.
I
Anybody
probably was.
who's ever been in Southern California, Southern California is threatened by the Andreas Flat, but it is a virtual paradise in terms of weather and fertility. You just
Yep.
don't get any better than that.
It kills me that we're not taking better care of it. We're losing topsoil. You know,
You know what?
I watched a documentary called Dirt, and this puts it in perspective. On average, the Earth has 4 inches of topsoil, and we count on that 4 inches to be able to grow anything, right? And here
Look
Ukraine's
at
sitting on
Ukraine.
the most. Wow. And then we got Nebraska and the plains in this country, right? Because that used to be undersea. So that's super, super fertile land as well. All the
I
plain
remember
states.
my
Go
father
ahead.
talking about. I'm looking for the latitude alignment so that I can sort of equate the weather patterns there with the weather patterns of one of our states.
Oh,
And
okay.
Ukraine, just looking at it like that, Ukraine
Right.
is Albania, Greece. Unfortunately, I don't know the area really well, and this thing will not get out of my way. Maybe you can. Okay, there's the Ukraine. Okay, so Ukraine is. I'm gonna put it right in the middle and slide left. Paris,
Oh, wow.
Paris. There we go. Everybody's been to Paris. Okay. Um, it's weather like Maine, so
Ooh,
it's
Maine's
it's
nice in
it's
the
it's
summer.
cool. It's nice in the summer,
Yeah.
but it's cool. So it's right around the latitude of our Canadian U.S. Canadian border.
Okay, that makes
That's a
sense.
highly
Right.
concent
Because I.
that's a highly concentrated area right around the Great Lakes. Cuts right through the Great
Hmm.
Lakes. So you got foggy weather in the fall. Okay, it's a nice place.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Not
saw
too hot.
footage today, and this soldier was tromping through, and there was like a little bit of snow on the ground, but not really stacking up.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure they get some flurries. Now don't
Hmm.
let's not get it twisted. They get some flurries, but they have enough sunlight to grow food and live well. Raise chickens. raise
Isn't
chickens so
that
you can
all?
have
Isn't that
eggs and
what
eat
we all want
well.
to do?
You know,
Isn't that
this
all that we
Ukrainian.
all want?
I'd like to have a piece of.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd like to bid on a Ukrainian farm. How much?
I'll take a Ukrainian wife.
But it comes with a farm. Kid
There we go.
George. Oh, evil, evil man,
The
you.
package deal.
Oh man, I actually
I
saw a
give you.
movie. I actually saw a movie where the woman came with the apartment.
Wow.
She was considered furniture. I'm not kidding you, bro. It was starring Charlton Heston, and the name of the movie is Soylent Green.
Oh my God.
I'm not
I've seen
kidding
that,
you.
but it's
Write
been
it
a
down.
long time.
Soylent Green. You remember the woman came with the apartment.
Wow, I don't remember that. I'll have to watch it
I'm
again.
not freaking kidding you,
So
bro. So
you know
man,
what's wild? For people that are a little younger, they might not know that movie, but I won't
yeah,
give it
it was
away
an old
other
movie.
than
Yeah,
they figure out
yeah,
a new food source. Let's just leave it at that. But
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
saw
yeah.
this.
Don't spoil it.
I saw a smoothie in a store the other day, Paul, and guess what their name was? Soylent. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God, what? Yeah, don't give it away because you blow the movie. Because the
Yeah,
movie,
exactly.
yeah, I'm just gonna let's stop right there. You guys
Hmm.
want to see something crazy? It's an old movie
Hmm.
now. We think, oh, some old guy told us to do a movie. Hey, look, this old movie has a lesson. Okay, I'm not kidding.
It's deep.
There are
It's
many
deep.
lessons in it, but there is a
Hmm.
big lesson in the movie. Soylent Green, Soylent Green. The
I gotta
star of
watch
the
it
movie
again.
is the same star of the original Planet of the Apes, Charlton Heston. Very
Man, the head
old,
of the
very
NRA.
accomplished late actor. Yeah. Yeah, he was a good
Well, he
guy
lost
most
his
of his
life.
life before he
Yeah.
lost his mind. He
And
was
then he became like a
just
Ted Nugent.
just trust me. You know, a lot of the young people now they're so into CGI that there's nothing there
Hmm.
to keep their attention. They can't pay attention. They just can't do it. They're on the
Yeah.
phone, they're texting. Pay attention to the movie.
Immerse
Pay
yourself, right?
attention. Well, how about just pay attention? Just pay attention. That's
Hmm.
all I ask. Just pay attention. Because then the aha moment is assured. I promise you.
Yeah, I was watching a movie with my nephew, and I put on something that I really wanted him to see, right? You know, because he was like, at that time, he was like 19. I'm like, oh my God, I forget what it was, but I'm like, oh my God, you got to watch this. It was huge,
They
you
couldn't even
know,
stop
formative.
bouncing around on the couch.
Well, like he was on his phone, like you said. And I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
He's like, I am watching it. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Well, they grew up in an era where you can always rewind and pause.
Hmm.
And so they're interrupting the traditional linear time space continuum that we're all trapped in and believing that they can
Right.
take in more data than they can. What they wind up with is less.
Hmm.
You wind up with less
Remember,
information, less
remember
entertainment
how our
because you
parents,
don't pay
since
attention.
we, yeah, since we didn't have rewind, remember how our parents used to be if you made noise during the middle of a movie or their favorite show or something? Oh man, right?
I don't know. I wouldn't do that. We used to get
Yeah,
beatings.
I learned.
I couldn't even
I
fall
learned
asleep
real
in
quick.
church. All right.
Yeah, you didn't interrupt the movie.
No. Even today, you can't. I noticed something. Was it Hulu? I think it's Hulu. Or was it Netflix? I think it's Hulu. Hulu has a new thing where you can group watch. Start
Hmm.
watching with a group, sort of like a virtual theater. Have you seen that?
No, I wonder if
Yeah,
that
man.
started during
They have
COVID. Would make
yeah,
sense.
but I just saw it. I just found it yesterday. I'm like, what is this? Oh, group watch. Because I've been on the phone with people right here and say, okay, let's watch a movie together. And we're trying to time it,
Hmm.
trying to time it. So now they have part of the Hulu app is group watch. Some of them are
That's
already in
pretty cool.
progress, or you can start your own group watch. Yeah, well, is it cool? They're trying to recapture what was lost. That is
Right.
paying attention, not pausing, not, oh, I'm getting a phone call. When you go to the movie,
Yeah.
you pay $10 to go and sit down and watch a movie and have a drink. You don't take phone calls.
Right.
Do you?
I guess I guess I meant it could
No,
be cool if you're
no.
like doing something like, hey, let's all watch this awesome documentary so we can learn something about, all get the same facts, right?
You know, I
That could be
fear
cool.
for the young people because they're not getting smarter. They think they're getting
Yeah,
smarter, but they're not.
it's getting
In
busier.
fact, they're just losing it. Great movies, great works of art like the Lord of the Rings trilogy. You cannot break that up. You got to sit down for 3 hours and watch it, the whole
Yeah,
thing. And if you pay good, close attention, you're still going to miss things. That's probably one of
exactly.
my biggest. They got a new one coming out. It was on a
Oh
Super
wow.
Bowl commercial. It's like a prequel,
Yeah, I
and I
love
can't go
those.
because they put so much effort into the plot, the languages, and
Mm-hmm.
the set and the uniforms. They put so much work into it. They put a lot of work into the
Absolutely.
300.
And like you said,
300.
you can watch
Was
it
it
the
300?
first time. You could watch Lord of the Rings the first time, think you were paying a lot of attention, then you watch it a second time, and you notice stuff you didn't notice the first time.
Well, what happens is when you it used to be the tradition in this country for uh, certain segments of the population is you would go to the movie with your wife and one of your best friends and their wives, maybe two or three of you at a time, and afterward you would go to the restaurant or you would go to dinner and then go to the
Hmm.
movie and then go
Dinner and a
back
movie.
for coffee and discuss the movie. What did you see?
Yep,
What did you see? What did you see?
exactly.
And that's all but gone. So friends of mine and I that have been keeping this thing alive. And for those of you who didn't grow up in this country, who are unaware of the very deep section of Americana that's dedicated to westerns. If you wanted to get caught up on westerns, just first off, you can't get caught up. But if you wanted to get a
Hmm.
good start, because somebody asked me this question, well, what would you recommend? Well, I would start with a very old black and white Western called The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
Oh, it's a great
It
movie.
is chock full of A-list stars who are there by virtue of their skill, not by virtue of their
Hmm.
name. We're talking about Jimmy Stewart, John Wayne, Marvin, what's his name? The one who played Liberty? Marvin,
Oh, can't
Jimmy Stewart, John.
can't
I
on the
mentioned
tip
I
of my
mentioned
tongue.
a major two, and there are a number of characters that are fixtures in in Western Americana that you will see whose name the guy who stutters. Remember that guy that says he could talk to heads of wouldn't it funny as all get out. I've seen him in 100
Yep.
westerns, and he's hilarious. You remember the big fat sheriff who was always
Yeah,
eating?
just such
Funny
great
as all get
casting.
out. It's a huge, huge movie. You watch that movie without distraction, and you will have a proper introduction into um, the Americana that is westerns. The second movie, I'm
Yeah,
sure you're going to
Lee Marvin.
you're going to guess Lee Marvin. Yes, Lee Marvin. He's look at this guy's on it. The second one that I would recommend I'm trying to give you the best of the best, and there are many. So I'm stepping on a lot of movies to get to these two. If you disagree with me, I don't even have a third one yet because I can't find one. My last choice was very difficult. The second one would be a movie by a gentleman who is probably going to lose him soon. It's a Clint Eastwood movie, directed by Clint Eastwood and starred in by Clint Eastwood. It is The Outlaw Josie Wales. This movie
Oh, it's a good
is
one too.
centered around the last 2 years of the Civil War. And I'm telling you, it is something to behold. And there's stories on top of stories layered in there that you can see. The strange part about the movie is that I don't believe that I saw maybe one black guy in the whole movie.
Yeah,
But
partially. Yeah.
that is atypical of people going into hiding in the Civil War. So I'm not so
Yeah.
sure that that's not appropriate. A lot of people are like, oh, there's no black people, and get all butthurt. Wait a minute, man. It's a civil war. Okay. So it's just a great movie. We can't stop talking
Yeah.
about it. Every day we got statements. And have you ever seen Outlaw Josie Wells?
I have, but it's been a long time.
Do you remember the old lady, Granny?
I don't.
Oh my goodness. You got to go
Well, that's
back.
a movie I got
Granny
to revisit.
made the movie. She absolutely made the movie. Remember Ten Bears? Yeah. Would you like to go with the Comancheros, Granny? No, I wouldn't.
Definitely got
This
to
you
watch
just
that
haven't
again.
you haven't paid attention. Now, for want of a third movie, I would only nominate Tombstone. But I don't think Tombstone shakes a candle compared to the first two. You know Tombstone about Wyatt Earp, but there are
Yeah.
lots of Wyatt Earp movies,
Hmm.
and I'm sure I haven't seen enough Wyatt Earp movies to choose properly. There are other movies like um, what's that guy Ackerman who says, "If you live to breathe another day, it's because I allow it." Remember they had a competition, him and his son. His son was played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and they had a woman who shot him at the end. She was real good. I can't remember
Hmm.
her name. She's a famous actress. It just didn't have the it didn't have the
The plot
full. It
depth.
was a
Yeah.
good movie now, but neither one
Yeah.
of them
Just not
comes to
not
the.
that
It
level of
doesn't
writing.
come to the level. So I would ask a younger person like yourself, and I think you're younger than me. What do you think if you were recommending a third movie? You have any objection to those two movies? Who would you
Oh,
recommend
I
as a
love them
third
both.
movie?
I mean, I need to
All right.
watch both of them again because it's been 20 years,
We, we,
but
we
or
just
maybe
we're
30.
talking about a win, place, and show here. Best of the best. I gave them in
Hmm.
temporal order. I'm gonna tell you. Do I think Liberty Valance is a better movie than Outlaw Josie Wales? Perhaps, but I list them in. They're so good. They're so good. There's so many good movies with Clint Eastwood.
Magnificent Seven. That's another
So
good one.
many good. Oh my goodness, what would we pick for a third movie? We had to fight. We had to have a mud fight between girls to try to pick that movie. They're both winners. There's some really, really, really good westerns. Um, Good, Bad, and Ugly. It's a good movie.
Who? Yeah, Good Bad
We
Nosy,
love you. We
Fistful of
love you,
Dollars.
preacher. Remember that one? We love you. You
Hmm.
fistful of dollars. Remember, we love you, preacher.
Who was that in Magnificent Seven? Was that Yul Brenner, the bald guy?
Yep, that's a good one.
That was a good one.
That's a good. He was supposed to be a mulatto, right? Part black,
Yeah.
part white,
Hmm.
and he was a shooter. He was
Good shooter.
angry at the world. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. That's a
Yeah.
notable nomination.
Don't
See,
they
that
end up
just
down
goes to
in
show
Mexico
you.
or something?
Yeah,
I think they
and
end up
he
in
always
Mexico.
smoked cigarettes, and Yul Brenner. Yul Brenner. Just ladies and gentlemen, in case you don't know who Yul Brenner is, Yul Brenner is the star of Exodus. He played um, what do you call the Egyptian king? They have a name for him.
Oh,
Come on, man, you know the
Ram.
name.
Oh man,
Yeah, Ramesses or something. But they have a name
Ramses.
for him. No, but what do they call them? The Egyptian king is not called a king. He's called
Pharaoh.
a pharaoh. There we
Pharaoh.
go. He played
Yeah.
the. Thank you. I knew. See, this is what will keep you on the payroll.
There we go.
He
Good
played
for
the
something.
pharaoh on Europe. Okay, he is a world-renowned actor, no less than a
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood or John Wayne. And I mean, this guy's really, really good. And
Yeah.
he's as good because of his age, his time in the business, and the fact that he's a heavy smoker. In this particular movie that he was describing, what was that cowboy movie he was in? You just
The
mentioned,
Magnificent Seven.
Mag, was that Miss? I didn't know that was the name of it. Is it the Magnificent Seven?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so anyway, in that movie, he got to use his poise and his control and pivot off of his deep smoking history, which killed him, by the way, to make that movie. the whole cigarette and the movie and all that. Uh, it's just absolute fanatically good. Now, a lot of the Western movies center around Clint Eastwood and what's the other guy they call the meanest guy in Western with the sharp face?
Oh man.
Really, he's also in. That guy is also in the movie, the first movie I talked about. I'd never seen him as an understudy. I'm like, my God, is that so and so? They got everybody in that first movie. I'm sorry, man. That first movie is just, there's a reason why I called it his first. It is just chock full of people. There's a black guy in there, one black guy in there. And this guy was a famous football player. I can't remember his name, but he's the same guy who played in Spartacus.
Oh wow.
They called him a Nubian. Big, tall, 6'4", 6'5". He's as tall as John Wayne, bald head, all muscle and bone. And he's in that first movie. Yul, it's not Yul Brynner. I just can't think of his name.